Hello, and thank you so much for dropping by the video. I'm very delighted to be making it. It's a healing report. To anyone who's new to this channel is based on some simple, universal spiritual principles and a very simple spiritual practice of receiving healing, life energy. And to date, we've had 8 healings happen in the middle of meetings. People have had lots of healings sort of on their own doing this practice. And then we just had another healing report come in. So, and if you'd like more information about this, there's going to be a link below this video. So this is from Jason from Mocksville, North Carolina. Let's see. I'm just one moment. I'm finding. He wrote it to me. So the first thing he said is that through doing this practice and living by these principles, he said he's felt more whole and more healthy in all aspects of his life and more connected to God than he has for a long time. And then I'll just read what he wrote. And I have a healing report for you. I have been a manual labor factory job since I was 18 years old. I am 41 now. So I have worked there almost 23 years. A lot of heavy lifting and activity almost every day for the last 10 years. I have had stiffness and pain waking up and throughout the day. I had to take pain medicine frequently. The last week where I started the practice of tuning in and following your course on the teachings of Christ, I woke up one day last week for the first time in 10 years with no pain in my body whatsoever. I can sleep in any position I want. I don't need pain pills. And physically and mentally, I feel like a kid again. Amazing. Physically, no pain and pureness of heart. There was a couple of questions he had when I had an opportunity. So thank you so much to Jason for sharing this. To anyone else, if you have a healing report from applying these teachings, from participating in this channel, please email it to my website. My website will be listed below, and that has a contact form. And it's so important to share healings. It is so important. The human mind is utterly convinced. Let me put it this way. We as human beings tend to have the very bad habit of being utterly convinced that there are problems that have no solution. And that material problems, like, for example, tension, require a material solution. So we seek out things like pain meds, or maybe even something a little more healthy like yoga. And pain meds in the right situation are needed. And in the right situation, yoga is really helpful. I'm not putting those down, but we as human beings have forgotten one of the most important aspects of life, that there is an energy, a force, a power, like the Force from Star Wars, that the Force is real and it cares about us and loves us and wants us to be happy and healthy and is available to help in that process. And so the course he's speaking of, you'll find it on my website. It's nothing more than the teachings of Christ, the how. So much of what's spoken about Christ is theology, like who was Christ, or you have to believe in Christ, or you have to believe this, or you have to believe the Bible is literally true. There's all this mental, and there's not so much the practical. What my course is the way of life that Jesus taught and called us to. And it's not the way of life we've been taught. about Jesus, right? Like I was taught that the way of life Jesus called me to was to go to church and read the Bible and pray every now and then and believe certain things. Whereas in the way of life that Jesus lived and taught was communion, connection with God, being guided by God, and being full of the power of God, and then sharing that with others. It's a lot simpler than we've been taught. It's a lot more natural. It's about being in harmony with nature. And I want to say nature, not just like trees and mountains, but what is natural. Like God is natural. I don't mean that. I mean that as an adjective, not like God is trees and mountains. But what I'm saying is that so much of our world and so much of our theology and thinking about God is artificial. Like I said, you have to go to a building and read a book and listen to a preacher to connect to God. Not opposed to churches, the Bible, or listening to preachers, but what I'm saying is that God is right here, right now, and that we can tune in and tap in to that. And that there's something, the way of life Jesus called us to is very natural. And I'm struggling to find the words. It's just based on harmony. It's based on connection with ourself, with God, with nature. And I'm struggling to find the words. I will find them. Maybe not now. So thank you so much for joining in. Thank you so much, Jason, for this healing report. And please, others, please, sharing these miracles it can be life-changing. Hearing other people share their healing reports saved my life and changed my life. These teachings are based on a man named Bruno Gröning, and he asked nothing from people, not even money. But what he did ask is that people practice what he taught. He asked that they find out for themselves if it's true. Like my course starts with saying, don't believe anything I say. Find out for yourself. And the third thing is Bruno Gröning asked people to share their healing reports. So please, make a YouTube video. If you have a healing, tell a friend. It could change a life or save a life. People sharing their healing reports saved my life. Jason sharing this healing report has fired me up for this work like I haven't been fired up in a while. So thank you to Jason, and thank you so much to everyone who visits this channel. Take care. Much love.